Hello and welcome to my review of the Warhammer 40,000 Conquest magazine, issue 62. Now in this issue you're provided with half of the Sector Mechanicus Galvanic Servo Haulers kit, which individually would set you back £30. So I'm looking at this as being £15 because it's got half of it, and that's all for the £7.99. So it's a fair amount of saving. You're saving half price by getting it through these two issues as opposed to buying it separately. And often scenery kits are the more harder to find from third-party sellers. Anyway, I've built them, and you get a little tool box and a little fire extinguisher as well. I've already built the crane. It's quite a tall model, but I'll bring these in with the crane in that review, which is only a few more issues away. Anyway, let's have a look at the magazine itself, because it's been a while since I looked at this. Not yesterday, as you may think. So it starts off with Space Marines Crimson Fists. And squad markings, some White Scar Successor chapters. You got some destroyers there, and Solar Hawks, Mantis Warriors, Space Marines Vanguard Veterans. There they are. They're going to look very kind of old, obsolete compared to the new Primaris Assault Space Marines and the new Primaris Blade Guard, definitely. And then Forces of the Imperium Adeptus Custodes. There's a nice showcase of these. I think I've already gone through this in the first look, but it's a really nice showcase of them, and it gives you an idea of some colour schemes to use too. How to build the Galvanic Servo Haulers. They go together really easy. The only issue you're going to have is just the mould lines on the, I want to say, tank tracks or caterpillar tracks. Yeah, you can build them in about 15-20 minutes or so, if that. Painting them, they chose to paint them a nice bright red, Mephiston red, which I suppose ties in with the Mechanicum Mars colours, at least, and the Scutari. Yeah, I mean, I think I'm going to go try the yellow though that they've done, because I think the blue lighting comes out better than on the red. But there we go. And then rules about the terrain, pretty much the same as in the chapter approved book for those, and it gives you an idea of who gets covers, who gets the cover saves there, and then area effect of the cover zone, and then a mission briefing, the evacuation, where to put them, and they've got them as objectives, which is quite nice. And then a look at the next two issues, quite straightforward. Issue 63 is just like issue 60, I think it was, that also included 10 Poxwalkers and a Plague Marine, but they're all built, ready to go, and obviously that will be a first look and review all in one, because it's just got the Astro Granite texture paint in there. So yeah, it's an alright issue. I would have liked to have seen, I always like to see more columns and lore and things about, hive cities, I suppose, or structures, or just factories. I'd like to see more articles about that, rather than just, put in articles about things that aren't really related at all, like different Space Marine chapters and Adeptus Custodes. I much prefer an issue that has content about that particular thing. Maybe I'm just griping, but I've had subscription based magazines before where that issue focuses on the actual item that you get. Anyway, let's have a little look at the detail of these servo haulers. I'm not sure whether these are made in China or not. I'm not sure where they are. I'm not sure whether all the coloured plastic is made in China, but I haven't seen any kind of drop in detail compared to the the full-blown kits. But this is what you get. You get a couple of options in terms of this thing. I mean, if you wait ahead for the big crane, then you can put a different sort of, I don't know, engine exhaust venting system on there, I suppose. But they work. I mean, it's got Mechanicus on it everywhere. You can kind of imagine these things just moving about autonomously, going to pick up whatever for the factories, or I wouldn't necessarily think that they're kind of a battlefield thing, in that they'll go and pick up pieces of tanks and things off the battlefield, or repairing things, which this kind of looks very similar kind of crane system to what they had on the Sacristan Forge Shrine. I'm not actually sure whether this is the exact crane. That would be interesting if I found that piece of scenery somewhere. Anyway, yeah, you've got like a little command console there, so maybe someone can just load that up and, you know, play a game of Tetris on it or something. I don't know, but there you go. That's both of the galvanic servo haulers, and then you've seen one of these tool boxes before. It's a triple layer toolbox with a load of different tools and a hacking tool, it looks like, from BioShock, an automatic hacking tool. And then you've got a fire extinguisher. In the 41st millennium, fire extinguishers are still exactly the same, apparently. Anyway, there you go. That's the servo haulers. What I'll do is I'll just go through some size comparisons, of course, and then we'll go through the, I'd say, rules. So straight away, I'll do a size comparison with Monitorum container, which is right here. As you can see, it is, yeah, they are sort of, you know, a little bit smaller than them. The servo hauler is taller with the grabber. And this one is a tiny bit taller too, but lengthwise it is both together, so they're a bit longer, but each one, yeah, it is a bit bigger, I say. Compared to the piping, here they are next to some Promethean pipelines. You could probably expect them doing repairs or something on that, or lifting parts of the pipeline away, who knows. And then I've got a bit of a section of wall there which they could kind of hide behind maybe. You can make a nice little diorama with them. And then finally a large piece of scenery, the hemotrope reactor, that does dwarf both of them, but they share some similar aesthetics. And yeah, if you had a couple of these hemotrope reactors nearby and you had these, they all fit in this kind of Sector Mechanicus sort of cityscape or industrial complex, whatever you want to call it. And then the final size comparison I always like to make is just with a couple of Space Marines. So here they are, always with a Legacy Space Marine on the left and a Primaris on the right. You can see that the Legacy Space Marine, it is a bit taller than the sort of engine stack there, and he is a bit shorter than the overall chassis of that servo hauler. You probably could pick him. Maybe you could, you know, win a prize, win a Space Marine. And then Primaris is taller than the smaller one, and I think a little bit taller than the main one. So there you go. They're of similar size. They work. The sizes are fine. If you're not going to think that they're operated by a person, they're probably you know, or automated little vehicles run by the Mechanicum using the Noosphere or whatever you want to call it. Anyway, so that's that. That's the size comparison with those. And finally, what I'd like to do is just go through their rules in a way. You don't have to pay any points for them or anything like that. Include them in your army list. They are just scenery. Their description just goes on to say that they're hydraulic machines that litter the industrial zones of the Imperium. When a model targets an enemy infantry unit that has all of its models within 3 inches of a galvanic servo hauler, the target unit receives the benefit of cover if the shooting model is closer to the galvanic servo hauler than it is to the target, and the target is at least partially obscured from the point of view of shooting the model. So what we can really say is you've got these two Space Marines and they're partially covered, and the servo hauler is between. They're going to get the benefit of cover there. So that's all quite straightforward. Funnily enough, there's no kind of hazardous cover kind of thing, so they don't hit a fuel line and then, you know, blow up and cause them mortal wounds or anything. They just straight up receive the cover, which, yeah, is about as kind of simple and basic rules as you can get for something like this. Anyway, that is it for my review of the servo haulers. What do you think of these little things? I think it would be cool if they made some kind of train for your battlefield or something like that. That would be awesome. I always like to see the vehicles and machines of the Imperium that aren't specifically for war, in a way. I know you'd probably argue that a lot of the Imperium is kind of catered or built for a specific purpose for the war with well, the war with everyone. But it's nice to see machines that don't have kind of weapon systems on them, that are purely for a civilian or manufacturing kind of process. It would be cool if we had much more of these kind of things, just to dot around your battlefield or your cityscape board. Really helps the narrative of a game, adds a bit more flair to your battles. It just draws you in a bit more. Anyway, what do you guys think of them? Please do put it in the comments below. It'd be great to hear from you. Thank you ever so much for joining me today. Thank you for watching. The Emperor Protects.